and get right into it.
Brill, thank you. Yeah.
Awesome stuff. So I don't have any slides or anything. I don't often do training like that. I like to just kind of go from, my intuition, I suppose is the word. But so a little bit about me. So my name is Seb. That's actually short for Sebastian, in case you're wondering. And I'm 24 years old. Some people say I look like 34 or something, but I'm actually 24. I think the beard definitely helps with the looking older thing. But so I basically got started in online marketing back in 2009. So I was like 16 or 17. And, at the time I was really dabbling in, wanting to make money, kind of like how a lot of people are when they first get into a business. They're trying to figure things out. They want to make extra money. They want to have a bit more freedom, a bit more time freedom. Maybe they want to work in a way where it's leveraged, where they're not trading time for money. And so that's kind of the things that I was looking for back in 2009. I was very young. I didn't really have much of an entrepreneurial upbringing, and I didn't have parents or relatives with loads of money they could give me. So I was just kind of like going online thinking, how can I make money? Like filling in surveys and stuff, and and I was just trying to piece things together. So, a good tip I will start with before I get into the content is, find yourself a mentor, find yourself a coach, or however you want to describe that person. It has to be someone who, you can work with personally. A mentor from a book or a video is not the same as someone who, you can directly talk to and bounce ideas off. So I would definitely say find yourself a mentor, or maybe a running partner. That could be within the business you're in now. It could be someone else in another company. It doesn't really matter who it is. It just has to be I think you really have to run with the right people. And for me, that's how I got more results in like 3 or 4 months of being with the right people. Having the right running partners, being they could be sidelines to you. They don't have to be downline members. I have people I talk to in other industries, even who I actually have as accountability partners. So that's super, super important. Especially if you don't have that support network. Maybe you're not local to other teammates or people who are in the same mindset as you. And so that really helped me to, fast track things. So anyway, back to my story. I first kind of found, network marketing through just Googling things. But, the inspiration really came from a great book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. If you've not read it, highly recommend you take a look at it. But within the book, it talks about the 4 quadrants and what these quadrants are, different careers you can do. So the 4 quadrants are: you can be an employee, you could be self-employed, you can be a business owner, or an investor. So the goal is to go from self-employed to be employed to being a business owner and investor, where if you're a business owner, or especially if you're an investor, your money works for you and you're not constantly chasing money. So I'm pretty sure most of you guys, that's your ambition. And so that was mine as well. So I went online looking for kinds of different strategies and ways to, make things work. And so I spent over 4 years of just trial and error, just being frustrated, trying to understand how to generate leads, trying to figure out how to prospect, how to talk on the phone. I was so shy on the phone. And it's funny. When I first started calling people on the phone, I had like this headset attached to my computer, and I think the headset was faulty, and I didn't realize. So I was calling people, they couldn't hear me. So it was just like highly embarrassing calling someone, and then you're like trying to you've got this like polished script that you're going to do, and then they can't actually hear you. So I went for a lot of struggles trying to refine my skills. And so one of the things that helped me to to go from struggling to where this year I flew to Austin, Texas to collect an award on stage for an affiliate company I'm in. And that was the first time I'd ever really, been on stage and been recognized for an award. So that was really, really cool. And so one of the things that contributed to that was always having personal development. And, you probably heard this a lot of times, but it really is key. It's the small things you do that make the biggest difference. So, as an example, listening to personal development on, to and from work, or when you're doing some housework, versus, listening to Kanye West or whatever. What made the big difference for me is making the very small changes. It wasn't even the big changes. It was just the small changes. So it would be, when I was out there prospecting, I would maybe talk to 30 people a day instead of 15. I would maybe make that one extra phone call or do that one extra Skype call with someone, do that one extra meeting. But I would always do a little bit extra. If you talk to 3 extra people a day, within a month, that would be 90 people a month that you would talk to, on top of what you already do. So that to me was, made the biggest difference is doing the small things. So in terms of what I actually do, I suppose my speciality is, I can name it as that, is Facebook. I really love using Facebook. I spend a lot of time in it. And so, it is one of those things that kind of can suck up your time. So you have to be disciplined, but it can also be a great way to connect with people. And so I'll start with Facebook. So it's almost like walking into a networking event, but it's almost like you have the information already. So, when you go to a networking event, obviously you get to know people, what their names are, what they do, what they're all about. But with Facebook, oftentimes people put a lot of this information in their profile. Some people give lots more than others, but oftentimes you can at least see where they live, what they do for work. You can kind of see how old they are, and you can see if they're a family man or family woman. But why that's important, why that matters, is if you have that information and that data, then it is very easy to know more about these people, so before you even talk to them, which is really cool. So you can go to Facebook and, if you look at one of your Facebook friends' profiles, it will list out exactly, all the information that you need to know about them. And one of my million mentors said to me that this is important. Okay. And this is important because if you can find 3 things in common with someone the first 5 minutes you meet them, then you guys will basically be like best friends. You'll be like that, and if you don't believe me, then try this. It really works. And, how I got good at connecting with people when I was prospecting, when I was going out there trying to bring people into my business, was I would just, when I was just talking to people normally. So if I was going to Starbucks, if I was going to, just going out and about, and I wasn't going out there to prospect or build my business, then I would just say to people, how's it going? How's your day so far? And just ask them a question, just connect with them, without any, no intention, there was no, nothing in my mind to say, I'm going to get this person to look at my business or anything like that. I just went in with the goal to really connect with that person and just have a conversation. And so that really helped me to connect with people in any situations, especially when I was in the prospecting situation, especially when I was building my business, because I think people have this approach that they are, they have this intention behind them that they're going to go out there and sell. And with network marketing, we are selling something. We're selling a business, a product. So we obviously are selling something, but we're doing it a different way. Another thing that one of my mentors told me is this industry is based about personal development and leadership. And so it's not about selling products and services. That does happen. It just happens in a different way. And so the best way to be able to collect those awards on stage, to be that top recruiter, is to be a good leader, okay, and to take on board a lot of personal development. So the personal development could be books you read, it could be seminars you go to, it could be, if you don't like reading books, if you're like me, I just listen to stuff on the go, then Audible, I think, is like £8 a month or something. Or you can just go to YouTube and you can download half of it if you want. So this information is very accessible. In fact, if you were going through YouTube for like 6 months straight, you wouldn't get through half of all the personal development out there. So there's plenty of information to listen to, something positive, something that always keeps your mind active. Now, going back to the leadership part, why is it important to be a leader? Now, going back to when I was first starting to build my business, I didn't start sponsoring people until I was showcasing some leadership abilities. And so I noticed that, hey, people seem to want to work with the top recruiters. more than anyone else. And I just thought that was interesting. And so I thought, well, what if I was, okay, I'm not a top recruiter now, but what if I could do the things that they're doing? Maybe I could also start attracting some of the things that they're getting. So that's exactly what I did. So I basically stalked all of the leaders, all of the people I looked up to in my company, just to monitor what they were doing. You know, what were they saying? Were they doing videos? Were they creating content? What were they doing differently to me? And that's something I've always asked myself. When I see someone who's just doing amazing and they're just smashing it, I just think, what are they doing differently to me? And oftentimes it's the small things. It's often a small tweak that you have to make or, you know, understand to get those different results. So what I did was when I looked up to some of the leaders in my company, and this is kind of consistent across any company, but they were, you know, organizing training events for their team. Even if they didn't have a big team, they would still organize an event and they would just invite other people's teams. Now that might not necessarily grow your business unless you're inviting loads of prospects, but it's putting you in that leadership position because other people outside of the company, guess what? Sometimes they are deciding on who to join and they're going to want to join the leader or who they perceive to be the leader. So if you're out there organizing events, even if it's just a, you know, generic training event, then other people who may be on Facebook or maybe you're doing YouTube videos about it, so they might actually see your YouTube video. But what people do as you post content on Facebook is they actually follow your content, and oftentimes people are silent for months or even years before they pull the trigger and want to work with you. I've had this happen a bunch of times. I've had people been following me for ages and I haven't really spoken to them much, and then all of a sudden, you know, I said something on my Facebook wall, or I posted a video, or there was something that I said that really caught their attention, but they were following me for months and months and months before they actually decided to, you know, jump on board and actually buy from me. So, you know, those are some of the things you have to do as a leader is, you know, organize events. Now, other things leaders do, as I said, they take on personal development, but they don't just take it on board and learn it and apply it, but they actually share some of it on their wall. Okay. And the best ways to do this through Facebook is to just post it as a status. But what is really powerful, and a lot of you guys have started doing this, is, or at least, you know, you've thought about it and you've seen this happen, is Facebook Lives. And Facebook Lives is so powerful. But my suggestion is, if you're anxious about doing a live, just do like a normal video. You know, oftentimes people think, well, you know, it's a live stream, and will I make a mistake? And I'll be honest with you guys, that happens to me sometimes. And I do live streams, and oftentimes I think, you know, what if there's background noise? What if there's this, that, and the other? But I just go for it anyway. And oftentimes you realize that those fears you have, they just don't exist. You know, like, for example, there was a live stream I did. I don't remember when, but there was like this ticking sound coming from, I don't know, like my heater or something, my boiler. And then, so I was worried about it. I did the live stream with the noise going on. I played it back and I couldn't hear anything. So it was almost like, I don't know, like your mind makes up things to almost paralyze you, keep you in fear, and stop you from going for your dreams. And that's you just have to push through that. But going back to a Facebook Live, why that's important, and you know why that's huge, is, I don't know, to get a bit technical, Facebook loves it when you do Facebook Lives. They will actually promote your Facebook Live if it's not getting enough viewers. So let's say you do a Facebook Live and it's, you know, really weird time, like 6 a.m. You're doing a Facebook Live on the way to work. Well, if you're not getting enough people watching it, Facebook will actually send other people notifications to get you some viewers. So if you're wanting to get some exposure to things that you've learned, then Facebook Live is the way to go. So some of the things that I do when I'm looking to share what I've learned, whether it's an event I've been to, or a book I've read, or maybe it could be a conversation I've had with someone, I would just then do a Facebook Live about it. And so how I actually get my lives quite popular, I've had lives with, you know, sometimes 80, 90 comments. You know, obviously it varies, you know, but for me, it's obviously all about the quality of the people who interact with you. But lives can get very, very, very popular, especially as you start building that audience. But what I tend to do is, I will do a attention grabbing headline. So I will think about other things that I've seen that might grab people's attention. And so the best example I can give is think about anything recent that you can piggyback from. And by recent, I mean it could be a film, it could be something popular culture, it could be something that is trending right now. And so I would piggyback off that. So it could be a new film that's come out, it could be a new book, it could be just something that's talked about. And I don't recommend watching the news for hours, and I don't personally do that, but I do recommend keeping a pulse on what some of the current events are. And if you go on my Facebook wall, notice from time to time I do actually piggyback off of some of these events because they're already getting attention, especially with movies. You think about the budgets for promoting those movies. That's millions and millions of pounds. Sometimes it's tens of millions of pounds just to promote one movie that's going to be aired for like 3 weeks at the cinema. But the budgets for these movies are crazy, so they're already paying for this marketing campaign. Why not piggyback off of this huge trend? And so if you're struggling to get some exposure and some engagement, that's what I recommend doing is looking at what is already popular out there and how can you piggyback off that. So that's one of the things that I've done. Now, going back to Facebook Lives, that's really, really crucial. Is getting yourself out there, letting people know that you're not afraid of doing lives, and you're actually able to get your face out there and let people know that that you have some value to showcase. And you guys obviously saw Ray Higdon, and he's all about value. I'm a big fan of Ray's as well, and he's all if you go to his blog, the last week he's posted more value-based posts than most people ever post in their lifetime. So that's a great person to model as well if you're wondering what kind of value to showcase. So why showcasing value is important, and how that makes you money essentially is people will follow this content, follow this value. And, the more you post, the more they want to come back. And so how you can monetize that is, I see a lot of people, they give value, and that's great. But you also need to monetize that. So occasionally, you can occasionally drop in hints such as, you could say that, one of your teammates did really well today. You could showcase a teammate who sponsored the first person this week. You could showcase some kind of results that you've got personally. But you could showcase something maybe in a Facebook Live or in a Facebook post that basically shows people that your business has a bit of activity, and also that you're hustling and you're really working on it. And other people are looking for that. They're looking for someone who is walking the walk. They're not just saying, you can make money with this, but they're actually in the trenches building it as well. And it's not like blind leading the blind, but what leaders do, as I said, is they actually showcase other people. It could be other people in a different team to you. It could be anything. It could be a result that was made, a new sign up, a new customer. But you have to showcase these results on your Facebook wall, even if it's another person. Then you can actually say, my teammate, so and so, and it doesn't have to be a downline member of yours. It could just be another person, another team. But you can say, congratulations to so and so who did X result, and that could be it. And then you could say, message me to learn how, and then you could obviously share a bit more information about what you do. That is a really powerful way to get some inquiries. Is if you start leaving a breadcrumb of content for other people to follow. So, those are examples of content. Is you could post some value, something you've learned from, a book or an event you've been to, as well as some, team results. So those are examples of value. Now, other content you can do is, I like to post pictures. I post pictures on Facebook, and selfies get a lot of engagement. Food pictures get a lot of engagement. I don't know why. It's just weird. It's just, we just like seeing cool things like people smiling, or we just like seeing pictures of food. When people post they're having like a baby or they're getting married, those get tons of likes. Absolutely crazy amount of likes. I think I was in a relationship on Facebook and I got 150 likes for something that took me 2 seconds. But what you need to start doing with people who like your content and interact with it is reach out to them. Reach out to them without an agenda, but just to connect with them and just see what's going on in their life. You know, what are they doing right now? What are they working on? You know, are they already in a business or something I learned from one of my mentors was people go in peaks and valleys, right? So they're at a peak state in their life.